Hello, hello, hello.
All right, we are live for another Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate, where we have local realtors and lenders come on and join us every week with the best tips in real estate that you can get. Every week we have a new topic and we just fill your brains with their brains and all of the information that they have to share with you guys. So it is always so great to hear from the local professionals in our area along the Treasure Coast of Florida here. We live in such a special place, and it's really great to just educate you guys on what's going on actually in our market right now and how you can best be effective as a buyer. So today's topic is really exciting. I think it's going to be a very great topic. It's always a good topic. It's always great information, but this one I'm really excited about. So it is how to prepare to purchase a home, which is what everyone is, if you're not purchasing right now, but you're looking to purchase in the next year, these tips that we're talking about today are going to be vital for you. So it's going to be a great conversation. Stay tuned. We run this meeting every week in 3 parts. So the first part is we have everyone who's on, realtors and lenders, talk about the topic, and then we have an open discussion about it. The second portion is everyone gives their #1 top tip of the week, because this is top tips in real estate. And then the third portion is any announcements or upcoming things that are coming up. So it is always a great fun-filled time. So if you guys will stay tuned to the end, there's always valuable information to hear. And if you yourself are a realtor or lender, you are welcome to join this every week. I don't say that at the beginning, I usually say at the end, but just so you guys know, you're always welcome to join. Just reach out to me. We want to have the best minds in real estate and discuss all of what is going on. So without further ado, we will start this amazing topic of preparing to purchase a home along the Treasure Coast of Florida and what is best. So Katey, start us off.
Hey, Lucy, thank you every week for allowing us to share information and share in this platform for educating buyers and sellers. I'm going to share my screen. I've got a visual aid. Go full screen. How am I doing? Thumbs up there? Awesome. All right. So how do you prepare to purchase a home, right? So if you are working with us, we start with a buyer consultation. Buyer consultation. So you come and you meet with any of our realtors in the office, and we will go through the buyer consultation package. So in here, we talk about the real estate process. We talk about the contract that you use, the purchase contract, which is the instrument for the process of purchasing a home. We also provide referrals for mortgage professionals. We go through the buyer disclosures. We provide inspection professional referrals, insurance, homeowners insurance referrals, and title and closing professionals like Lucy over there at Arrow Title Services. So I didn't want to go through all of the details of the mortgage side, but that's really the first step. And I'll allow them to kind of go through and tell you what you need to do to prepare on the financing side. But when you come and you talk to us, we're going to go through a buyer consultation. We're going to ask you all about your lifestyle, what you want in a home, and then guide you through that process specifically and explain and educate through the real estate purchase process.
Great information. Great way to start it off. Thank you, Katey, as always. All righty, so we're gonna go next to Codi.
Hello, this is Codi with Bourgeois Real Estate Group, your favorite realtor. So the first thing you want to do is find a local professional. Ta-da. In today's market, you have to kind of be a little more diligent if you're looking to purchase a home. The whole COVID thing has changed the game. Lenders have tightened their requirements. There was something I saw here. If you take your gross monthly income, multiply it by 45%, and then subtract your minimum monthly payments on any of your consumer debts, what you have left is generally what you can afford for a mortgage every month. So once you do that, you then want to make sure your credit is right. Don't make any big purchases. Don't take out any large sums of money. Don't change jobs. Make sure your money's right. You also want to make sure that you have some money saved for your down payment and closing costs, generally in the $15,000 area, depending on the cost of the house you're trying to buy. And then you want to make sure that all your documents are in order. You want to make sure that you can prove all of your income, anything that the lenders are going to need. And then you want to find a nice local lender, one of which you can see here if you need. And they will be able to give you a pre-approval on what you'll be able to spend. And once you have done that, once we have that letter, we can start looking for a property for you. You have to decide, where you want to live. What's going to be important to you, whether it's schools, recreation. Decide where you want to be. And then once we find you the perfect location, we can go ahead and start the process for you. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to help. That is my take.
Awesome. Great tips, Codi. Thank you. All righty. So next we're going to go to Alannah. What do you have to share with us today?
Hi, everybody, and good afternoon. I'm Alannah with eXp Realty. Thank you, Lucy, by the way, for hosting this. This is a fantastic topic. My two realtor colleagues pointed out a bunch of really amazing points. Having a buyer's consult is a great step towards getting you all of those professional referrals to really make your way smooth and answer questions up front before the process even starts. But there's also a couple other things that Codi brought up that were really excellent. Nobody decides to go and purchase a home if their situation is perfect. If they're living the charmed life and everything's absolutely perfect about their day-to-day, they don't just decide that they're going to buy a home unless it's an investment property. So when you're going to start preparing to purchase, visualizing what looks good to you, what is that next step, what is a winning situation is truly key, because you being able to express that to the professionals that you're aligning with before you start that purchase process is going to hugely impact how much they can help you. Of course, you want to get connected with a lender and they're going to share all of the little pieces that you need to have. But the big points, don't buy a car. Don't take out loans for furniture or, anticipating filling up your home with stuff. So you just want to start buying things. It can catch up and bite you in the butt really quickly. So we're going to let them touch on that a little bit more, but definitely just put a vision together for what your next step should look like for you to be happy.
Awesome. Great tip. Thank you, Alannah. And that actually brings us to the lenders, the amazing lenders who are in the room or virtual room. And we're going to start off with Eric. So Eric, from the lending side, tell us what a buyer needs.
Good afternoon, Lucy. Eric Rossford, Cross Country Mortgage. I'm pretty much piggybacking a little bit on what Codi, Alannah, and Katey brought up. First and foremost, you want to create a budget. You want to sit down, spend the time and say, this is where I am. This is what I can afford. Because maybe you do qualify for a mortgage that's $4,000 a month, but that's really not where you want to be. So you really want to sit down, get your personal budget together. Next thing, it's just as important choosing a realtor as it is a loan officer. You want to do your research on the company that you're doing your loan with. You don't want to get caught into, I saw something online, they offer this rate. You have to look to see if they're charging you points. Do your due diligence and research the loan company that you're working with. Huge thing to keep in mind. There's a major difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification. Pre-qualification is you just have a conversation with somebody and they say, oh, based on what you're saying, you should be able to say you're qualified. A pre-approval is much more in depth. So when you're at that stage in the home purchasing process, Your loan officer is going to be asking you questions. They're going to be asking you for pay stubs, W-2s. If you're self-employed, we need tax returns. So expect to have to give us a lot of information. We're going to see your bank statements. You just be prepared that you're going to hand over all your financials to whoever the loan officer is that you're going to be working with. And with that, I will pass the buck.
Awesome. And next we have Carol. So Carol, what do you have to share?
Okay, let me see if I can add to that conversation. Carol Dole's here with Gateway Mortgage. Everybody's we're on the same page here. So maybe I could elaborate more on if you're looking to buy a home, how much money do you have? You need to have some money, you can't be out there looking for a house if you don't have any money in the bank. And I think Cody touched on an amount. Let's say he said $15,000. Well, what if you only have $7,000? Either you're going to save the money, before you meet with that lender, or you're going to see if you have a relative that can give you a gift, or you might want to check into a lender that has some down payment assistance programs, because there's a lot of information out there and programs available to buyers because we want to get you into a house, but you got to be prepared. Some of these first-time home buyer programs are specific to your area, specific to the client. Requirements are in addition to regular guidelines, so you might want to check into that. So what I want to touch on is make sure you have the money. If you're going to save the money, how long is it going to take you to get that down payment and closing costs? One of the things I run into is I get a customer that's sent to me from a realtor, and they're like, I want to buy a house when my lease is up. And I'm like, when's your lease up? And they're like, March. I mean, we're 6 months out. So what do you do with that client that's 6 months out? You want to get them ready so that they are ready to buy them, whether it's saving the money for the house, the down payment and closing costs, or whether it's working on their credit. So credit's a big one. We want to make sure that we work on getting your credit score up as high as it can possibly be so that you can have the best rate available. So that's my 2 cents.
Absolutely. That was great. And you actually brought up a good point with the time frame. I think that that's a really big thing, is when you're preparing to purchase a house in the next year, right? You want to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. But I feel like there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm not ready to purchase a house right now, so I'm not going to look into it until I'm ready, quote unquote, which I feel is a big misstep when it comes to that. You need to, if you want to prepare to purchase a house, you need to be doing that 6 months ahead of time, minimally. I'd say that everybody would agree with that on the call.
Yeah. At least have a conversation. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, have the conversation. And that,
That's
I have some
question.
friends.
What's your time frame? What's your time frame?
Exactly.
And work into that.
And then you're not thrown into the situation where, let's say there's, okay, you're ready to purchase a home in the next month. And then you're like, oh, but my credit sucks. And then now you have to wait even longer than what you expected, because you have to get things fixed before you can do that. So if you are doing your due diligence and doing it ahead of time, you can work with your mortgage professional, and you can work with your realtor, and you can make sure, one, figuring out like with your realtor, like what type of house are you even gonna want? What do you want? Like, what's the market looking like right now, and how much is that house that you want? How much is it? And then you go to your mortgage professional and you say, like, is this even feasible? Can I get what I want, in a sense? Now, things might change in that 6 month period, but your realtor can keep up with you and making sure that you understand like what changes are happening. And, it might end up being sooner. You will be better prepared in that circumstance, because you might be able to do it in 4 months rather than 6, because you had professional help. So I feel like that's a really big thing in the time frame aspect. And I think that that's the number one thing that buyers have, is that they're like, they don't know when they should start. And I say, and I think everybody on the call, what we just said, is at least 6 months ahead of time, you should be preparing and connect with your real estate professional. So those of you who are looking to purchase in 2021, you should be reaching out to people now. Reach out now, especially while the market is crazy right now. Get a feel for what's even on the market and what things are looking like. I think it's really important. And yeah, if anybody wants to add to that, feel free.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of things change in 6 months. The market changes in 6 months, your finances changes in 6 months. You can dramatically impact your credit score or your savings or transition things around to be favorable for you. And all of those are things you don't know until you start talking with professionals. So we're not out for necessarily the quick sell or the quick list. We're definitely out to structure it so that it's as beneficial a process for you from start to finish, because I think the lenders in particular will agree, nobody wants to put someone into a home they can't afford. Nobody wants to set someone up to fail. Nobody wants to deal with the investigation on all parts that goes into the aftermath if you end up defaulting, because you're not set up for success. So everybody around you is really invested in helping support you.
One of the things I do want to touch base on something that's come up. I don't know if Eric's run into this, because this is something that's happening right now because of COVID. If you have a customer and that's, let's say their commission, I'm going to give you an example of something that recently happened. They had been getting commission for the last 2 years. I'm like, oh, that's great. However, I'm going to have to verify your commission now for COVID. When was your last paycheck? Well, they haven't worked since, let's say February. Guess what? They got to wait 2 years from when they go back to work, because they have over a 6-month gap. That commission average has to be over 2 years. This COVID is really affecting a lot of the way we calculate income, the way we look at job history, and job stability. So it is very important to get in front of a lender as soon as possible if you're thinking about buying a house, because if you're self-employed or your commission or you got laid off for COVID, all these things are going to affect the timing of when you can buy a house. And we're all in this together and we'll get through it, but it's totally changed how we do business.
Absolutely. And that's a really great point to bring up, because I don't think a lot of people know that when it comes to commission, like, yeah, you can get a great job and you're making good money, but like you have to wait consistently for 2 years before that commission can even be counted for. And then same thing with, let's say, your salary plus commission. They'll only take your salary if you haven't been there for 2 years. So a lot of buyers don't know that as well.
Yep.
And that's a big factor, especially with how things are going on.
I was going to say, I mean, this is where communication comes in also. I mean, you want to make sure that you are in touch with your lender as frequently as possible, because, especially with these tightened restrictions, they're constantly checking your income to make sure that it's still there. So a lot more than usual. And I wanted to ask the lenders here, if you can kind of touch on also people's paychecks, specifically saying COVID pay on them, how that affects their loan, because it's a situation I'm dealing with right now.
Eric, I can answer something. Okay, there's a couple different things going on. Some people have gotten laid off. You got to be employed. Number one, we can't use the COVID unemployment. That's not going to work. Then some people, I've had several clients where their pay has been reduced 10%, 20%. I got to use what they're currently being paid. Or if they're going to get it back, I got to know when it's coming back. And when you say COVID pay, what do you mean? Unemployment? COVID pay? That's not usable income.
No, I got people, I had a person who is getting the same rate of pay. Pay hasn't changed. It's just that the place of employment has reopened for business, but she was working from home. But her paychecks, I guess, because they collected, their money from the government, it says COVID.
Some of the employers, for example, the employer took out the PPP and they have to give that to their employees. We're still going to use their regular pay. That COVID money is not, we don't know what the future is going to be for that income. Do you know what I mean? So I would categorize that no different than overtime and commission. You don't have a history of it. I can't use that. But I also, on the other hand, is we have people that were out of work. They have since gone back to work. So we have to explain why their year-to-date earnings are low. And if it's due to COVID, that's fine. We just have to document it. But as far as counting additional COVID pay, that's not usable income. It has to continue. Like you have to have a 2-year history or it's going to continue 3 years. That's kind of how we look at income. And this is a unique situation for all of us. But I'll say this, every situation's unique. If something comes up that I don't understand, because it is all new to me, even though I have 30 something years in this business, there's some crazy stuff going on right now. So I just run it by an underwriter and I'll get you a definitive answer, usually within 24 hours. I don't want to have any hiccups as we get down the road, but I'm sure Eric feels the same way I do. I would not even have that person get their pre-qualification or pre-approval letter unless those questions have all been answered. Now, if something comes up during the process, that's a whole different ball game. You know, I have people right now that have COVID, and it might delay something a little bit. You know, we just one day at a time, you know, but it sounds like that's something that had been ongoing before they got pre-approved. So that should have been addressed before you even got that letter and put them under contract. Does that help?
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, again, that's why communication is key.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't lie to your mortgage lender. Don't lie to them or try to hide anything.
I gotta
They
find out.
can, but I think Tony had brought this up in the last week, like where he said that having all of that information up front, the more information that you give up front, the quicker and easier. If you guys have to go delving into the woodworks to try and find this information, and then it comes up later and they're like, oh, well, I didn't know that that applied. It's like, no, that's not how you want to have all your ducks in a row and be completely transparent, because when you're transparent about the situation, it can make everyone's job easier, because we don't want those potential speed bumps to come up. So that's a very, very big part. Go ahead, Eric.
If I could kind of just piggyback on that a little bit, because we're talking about being prepared. And a lot of times, and I'm sure Carol's seen this before, when you have that initial, we're gonna need all these documents, it can be overwhelming. And now with COVID, and I want to touch on self-employed a little bit. Self-employed, you could own I'm going to use a restaurant, for example. So you could own a restaurant and have made $1 million each of the last 2 years. But this year, now you're showing a loss. So with self-employed, doesn't matter what industry, currently we need to see a profit and loss statement year to date. So in the initial conversation, that's why it's good to talk to a professional, so I can say, or Carol can say, listen, we're going to need to get your accountant involved. We're going to need that. So it's not overwhelming when you actually go to purchase.
Absolutely. Very, very great tips. And, you know, I think the lending side, a lot of people just don't understand like how much actually goes into it. And, you know, even on the realtor side, like people just don't get, even on the title side, I mean, people don't understand the process as much. And it's easy to get information out there on the internet, but it's not the same as working with your local professionals that know the area, that know what's going on, and they want to help you. So using your local professionals is very important. And, you know, look at us. We're on here every week live to bring you guys information so that you guys can be more prepared as buyers or even sellers, because we have our market update Monday, but sometimes it all kind of flows together. We want to make sure you guys are prepared when it comes to the real estate market. So, you know, this information, these nuggets of information are very important, but at the end of the day, having all of those key pieces are very important. So we want to make sure that you guys are well informed with that. Does anybody else have anything to add? I know, Katey, yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Katey Bourgeois with the Bourgeois Real Estate Group. I always forget to say that. So not only are the mortgage lenders going to ask you a lot of questions about your finances, when we meet with you and we have a buyer consultation, we have a list of questions that we're asking you as well. Be honest, be truthful, be forthcoming with this information, not only with your mortgage lender, but also your realtor, because we are your best friend when it comes to finding your property. So if you know that a spouse or partner or mom, dad, whoever's buying the property with you does not want a pool on the property, let us know so we can weed those out and save you time. We don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste time, but definitely honesty, communication. I mean, those are keystones for everything we do in life, but it's essential when you are, you know, you're purchasing what for some people is their largest financial instrument. You know, this is an exciting and emotional time for a lot of people. So you've got to answer the questions honestly, and frequently and communicate with everyone involved, not just your realtor, the mortgage lender, the insurance folks, and then also the closing agent like Lucy at Arrow Title Services.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that was some great information, everyone. I think, people becoming prepared to purchase a home, they just knowing that you should do it ahead of time, more ahead of time than I think most people expect. Take all of this information and, contact a local professional. You guys know the drill. Any of the amazing ones on here will do. And they, all of their information, the contact information, you can contact them in the description of this video. Check them out. Even if you're not gonna purchase a home right now, go ahead and just like their pages because they've always got great information coming up. So it's good to just be a little bit like have one foot in and the other one waiting to hop into. So we're going to go into the second portion of this, which is the number one top tip of the week, because this is Thursday's top tips in real estate. So we always have each and every one of the local professionals on here share their number one top tip of the week in regards to how the market's doing and such like that. So Katey, start us off.
Hey, Katey Bourgeois with the Bourgeois Real Estate Group. I said it right that time. Said it first. So my top tip this week is, again, the same tip that I've given several times before and last week. Please call your local real estate expert. So I'm talking about your local realtor. I'm talking about your local lender. I'm talking about your local insurance folks. Please hire a title company or an escrow agent that is in the county where the property resides. Local is so important, not just where you spend your money, but also where you, you designate the services to be prepared for you. And, from the very first conversation to the closing gift, we try to keep it local, and we encourage you to keep it local as well, because we know what we're doing. We do this every day. Keep it local. Call your local real estate expert.
Absolutely. Great tip, as always, Katey. Codi, what about you? What's your top tip of the week?
That would be communication. You want to make sure that you find yourself a realtor, a title company, a lender, and an insurance company that all communicate constantly, so everybody's on the same page all the time up until the end, because if not, things can get crazy. So communicate.
Love it. Great one. What about you, Alannah?
Alannah with EXP here, guys. My top tip for this week is honesty will get you so much farther. It is so much easier for us to brainstorm solutions and get our people on the phone to really dive into how we can help your unique situation when you're honest with us about exactly what's going on. When you leave out details that seem tiny to you, they can blow up on the other side when you've already got your heart set on something. So that's my tip.
Awesome. Thank you, Alannah. What about you, Eric? What's your top tip?
All right, so my top tip of the week is going to blow your mind. Cash is not king. Cash is not king. We do not like mattress money. And what I mean by cash is physical cash. So top tip, if you're preparing to purchase a house, it's called seasoning. Your money needs to be in an account. We look for 2 months of history. We can't do cash.
Love that. And I actually wrote that down to mention earlier. And thanks for bringing it up. You read my mind, Eric. Carol, what's your top tip of the week?
My top tip this week is work on any credit issues you may have. If you know your credit score is low, let's say below 600, get on it right away, whether you're working with your lender or whether you're working with a credit repair company. But get those credit scores up as high as you can, and get rid of any disputed verbiage you may have on your credit report. It is not allowed in my book.
Love it. Love it. So my number one top tip of the week, Lucy McGuire with Arrow Title Services, because I think I didn't say that earlier, but that's who I am. My top tip is going to be get with a local professional, local realtor, any other ones on this call, and you can work with them and map out something. If you're renting right now, well, obviously you're renting or you're buying, right? Or you're staying somewhere for free for somehow, but you're renting or you're buying. So talk with your local realtor and talk about what that looks like. And if that renting situation is actually the best situation for you right now, because You know, we all, like, there's a lot of people that go into a renting situation, and sometimes I feel like they just feel like they can't purchase a home, but they're in a good position to be able to do so. So it doesn't hurt to have a conversation. It's free, and they're always going to be happy to work with you guys. So that's my #1 top tip of the week this week. And when you do buy that house, you know, Arrow Title Services, but that's fine. So you guys, we are going to go into the announcement section of this. If you guys are just tuning in right now, we just had an amazing discussion about how to prepare to purchase a home. Make sure you rewatch this video because these local professionals gave some great information and great tips throughout this video. You can always watch the replay on our YouTube channel as well, Arrow Title Services. And if you are a realtor or lender yourself, you're welcome to join in this discussion. All you have to do is message me, and we would be happy to have you on and pick your brain as well. So going into the announcement section, does anybody have anything coming up that they want to share with everybody? Who wants to start off? You guys can. Go, Alannah. I see you're ready.
Okay, cool. I've got a brand new listing coming live tomorrow in Vitalia, which is a beautiful 55 and up community in Tradition. So stay tuned for more. Please go like my page at Alannah Ghazel at eXp Realty to get more information.
Awesome. Thank you, Alannah. And you guys can get that in the description of the video. Katey?
Thank you, Lucy. I'm sorry, I didn't have my screen open. I wanted to make sure I had the right time and location. We have a few open houses coming up for our listing in the Harborage Yacht Club at 215 Flagler Ave, number 401, on this coming Saturday, the 25th, from 11 to 2 p.m. And then into the future, in November 1st and November 8th, which are both Sundays, we have our newest listing in Port St. Lucie, 2401 Sherlock Lane, going to be open house from 11 to 2 p.m. and the asking price on that is $299.9. So if you got any buyers interested, other realtors there, if you've got buyers interested in something under 300, this is a 3-2 fantastic little cute home in Sandpiper. And we'll have it open to the general public the 1st and 8th of November, 11 to 2.
Great. Thank you, Katey. What
Thank
about you, Codi? Anything on your end? You're good? All right. What about Eric and Carol? Do you guys have something to share?
Call me. I'm available. Call me.
Call me. Announcement. Anything on the lending side? No? All right.
I'll say we have money available up to $10,000 for first-time home buyers for down payment assistance. Hit me up.
That's a great announcement.
Take it.
Take the money.
Take the money.
Take the money around.
Now,
All right, guys.
Is that a grant or is that actual assistance for closing costs?
It's both. There's several programs available for first-time home buyers in the whole state of Florida.
I love that flexibility.
Email us. Let us know what's going on, Carol.
Okay, I got a presentation if you want me to
It's
do
the
it with your realtors. You know, let me know.
Absolutely. Let's get connected.
I'm just a
for
realtor
sure.
with a direct line to Carol, so how's like that?
All right, guys. So if you guys are live with us right now, we do go live every Thursday at 2 p.m. And we always have a new topic each week. So we hope you guys will join us, like and follow the Arrow Title Services page, because we always have the Thursdays top tips in real estate every Thursday at 2. And then we also have Market Update Monday, every Monday at 2 p.m. if you're looking into what the market's looking like right now and want to see some upcoming listings. So without further ado, thank you guys. And thank you to the amazing professionals that have taken the time out of their day to share this information with you guys, because we're all busy right now. Real estate is insane. And for them to take time out of their day, it really shows that they want to help educate you guys and show you guys, you know, they're taking that extra step in customer service. So, you know, if they're working hard on here to educate you guys, that they're going to work hard for you out there buying or selling a home. Thank you guys. And we will see you guys next week.
Thank you, Lucy.
Bye.